Everyone, am I audible to all? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. Everybody is here present. Let's start the session. Today we are going to start the data preparation. Data visualization we have completed. Now we are going to start the data visualization. So let me share my screen with you. Are you getting my screen? Yes.
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
So let's continue with the data preparation. So look at here, we are going to start the pre-processing the data before analysis. So what is data preparation? Data preparation is a very first thing that you do and spend a lot of time on as a data analyst, much before trying to build predictive models using that data. Okay. In essence, data preparation is all about processing data to get it ready for all kinds of analysis. All industry data collection is mostly driven by business process at front, not by the needs of predictive models. So these various processes at some or the other point become reason for introduction of error here and there in the data. Okay. So that data preparation is required.
Sir, please explain the third point.
All industry data collection is mostly driven by the business process. I mean to say, if you go to the mall and you purchase something, so they get your credit card or whatever the debit card, they ask your mobile number. But this all the information is gathered through the business process. Okay, but it is not as per the analysis purpose they are taking your information. It is the business process, the invoice number and the items you have purchased, these all things. Correct?
But sir, after that, we use these information for predictive models.
Modeling, yes. Okay, for the predictive analysis, we could
Basic purposes for business process.
for all the data is created by the business process now everywhere. If you purchase anything, any shop, if you go somewhere in some industry also, whatever the data creates there in the manufacturing unit by the operation process, that is the operation process data they are getting it.
Okay,
How
sir.
many wastage, whatever the things. Okay, and out of that data you have to make some analysis. So there may be some mistake in the some gaps in the data. Understand?
Yes, sir.
In the hospital they ask the register the patient and everything, and sometimes they forget to write your mobile number, attender mobile number, something like so their data is missing. Got it? Or sometimes they write something wrong way. So there is a various process at the sum of the other point become reason for introduction of errors here and there in the data. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Need to pre-process our data reason to pre-process our data is that there can be many kind of reason, not necessarily the errors whatever in the data, for which we need to pre-process our data and change it for beta. There may be some missing values in the data, so the missing data. There may be potentially incorrect data, or we have to need for changing form of the data. Okay, so I will explain you one by one. Handling missing values and outliers. There are two things. Outliers are the potentially incorrect data, and the missing values, you will figure out that treatment of both missing values and the outliers can be times be very similar. Reason being, both kind of observation are basically not in a state to be used because of missing or misinformation. If there is wrong data, then you will be there is a misinformation or missing data, so there is a information is missing. So that's why we have to give the treatment. We have a little bit different treatment we provide them. For the treatment of missing value, we are removing the observation with missing values. If suppose you have a data of 1000 observation, and there is only missing values in 20 observations, so you could remove those observations. It will not affect your analysis. So you have still 980 observation. You could work on that. But out of 1000, if there are 200 observations having missing values, if you remove those, so the data size will reduce, your sample size will reduce. So that is not possible to always remove the observations with missing values. If this is in the low, very few observations, then you could remove that. Otherwise, you have to do something for that. Then imputing, filling up missing value. The second is we could fill the missing value and with mean, median, mode of the respective variables. In which in a particular variable the values are missing, you find out the mean, median, mode, and you see the whether the data is symmetric or skewed. If it is skewed, you fill the median. If it is normal, then fill the mean in this way. And the third is the imputing with business logic. We could use the business logic also for fitting this. So what is business logic? I will explain you. Suppose we have a column, we have a data. It is the data of a car. We see how many kilometers it runs and when the engine failed, the year of engine fail. Suppose a car ran 60,000 kilometers and its engine failed, and that is after 8 years. Some car is 82,000 kilometers and engine failed at 9 years. Some car is 35,000 kilometers or engine failed at 5 years. This is missing value here. After 11,000 kilometers, the engine fails. and you want to fill up this value with the mean of this. Okay, if you find out the mean of this column, you will get 8 plus 9 plus 5. So it is the 8 plus 9 plus 5 is how much? 22 divided by 3. 3 values are this. So it is 7 near about. Got it? If I fill 7, so it is appropriate here. Is it appropriate? Value?
Yes, sir.
It is correct? 1,10,000 kilometer.
No, sir. It is not correct.
So at that moment, we could not use this mean mode median. And through the central value, central tendency value could not fill it. We have to see some corresponding variables, whatever the variables are, there may be some other variables also. So we see the other variables value is what is. How many times they have changed the tires, how many times they have filled their gearbox oil and the engine oil, whatever the some other things, axle and whatever the information. And we see this other variables, corresponding variables information, the similar information we see in some other observation. The similar, not the exact will not you will get, because there is a duplicacy is not there. The data we have already removed. So we'll get the similar information. Then you find out what is there in that particular column where you want to fill that value. Understand? Got it? So as per that, you will fill it. Does it make sense to everyone? So that is the business logic. We see the whole variables. We see the whole variables and see the value of, suppose we have millions of rows, and how we could examine it. So there is some package, don't worry. We apply for this filling up the missing values with the business logic. Okay. So that is the another way, that is called the business logic. Understand what is business logic now?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is for the missing value. Now we talk about the outliers. Outliers are a value which is very different from the other data points. So first is same, removing the observations with outliers. Second is flooring and capping. So in the missing part, you have seen we were using the mean mode median. Here we are using the flooring and capping. What is flooring? First we see the range of outliers. Okay. So range of outliers, we have a formula. If we have a normal data, we see the data first. If it is normal, then we apply for the lower limit of the outlier level, lower level if we see. So that would be x bar minus 3 into standard deviation. For the upper limit, it would be x bar plus 3 into standard deviation. Got it? If your data is not normal, it is skewed, then for lower limit, you will use Q1 minus 1.5 into IQR. For the upper limit, you will use Q3 plus 1.5 into IQR. So this value you will get. Suppose you have got a data, you have got the lower limit, and here is the upper limit. Here you got the 72, here you have got the 14, and you have value more than 72, there is 82, there is 91, something like that. So these are outliers. There also the 10 is there, the 9 is there. These are the outliers. So we have to flooring capping. If we, what we do, here we substitute instead of 82, we will put the 72. So it will come here. If we write the 72, Instead of 91, I will fill there 72. So I will get here, all the outliers will remain. It is called the caping. What does it call? Caping. And here if we do, we convert this in 14, 9 we convert in 14. So this will go here. That is called the flooring. Understand what is caping and flooring?
Yes, sir.
Just a moment. So that is the here, instead of mean mode median, we use the caping and flooring, and we follow this formula for finding out the range. Then we use the imputing the business logic, the same we are using in the missing values, same process. Need for changing form of data. Why we change the form of data?
Sir, can we use flooring capping technique in missing values?
No, we could not use that. No, there is no that thing we have. That is only for the outliers, the value which is very different from the other data points.
Okay.
That is only for the outliers. We could not use it for the missing. Okay. That is the extreme points we will put there. No? We could not, the mean is not extreme. The particular missing value is not extreme.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay. So need for changing form of data, transforming and extracting information from the existing data. We change the form of the data. Collapsing and summarizing data, we will see, and reshaping data. So I will show you this later on. Practically, you could better understand this part. Data preparation with R. Basics of data manipulation. So data manipulation is the process of changing data in an effort to make it easier to read, to be more organized. And data manipulation is not does it mean that you are manipulating the data, you are hammering the data. That is not that thing. Data manipulation is the process of changing data in an effort to make it easier to read or be more organized. For reserved word in R: NA, null, infinite, and nan. What's your name? User is you are using the name. Can you rename yourself? Yes. Yes. Okay, Kasa. So in flooring capping, pushing without mathematical treatment. No, we could not pushing it without mathematical treatment. We have to use that formula. Okay, we have to use that formula by which we could find out that value, and we put that value for the outliers. NA stands for not available and is used for representation of the missing value. And whenever you get the NA, it is the missing value. Null represents the absence of a value or an undefined value. And a null. And infinite is the, if you divide something by 0, you will get the infinite. That is that way. If you get the INF, don't worry. It is the, you have divided some value by 0. NA not a number. For example, when 0 is divided by 0, that is undefined, undetermined. So infinite by infinite. So that is the nan. Data quality, if we talk about the cleaning up data. So missing values first, duplicate rows, formatting columns. So these are the data quality.
Sir, what is the difference between NA and null?
NA is for the missing value, and nan is not a number. If you have in one column you have
Null,
0.
null. NULL.
NULL. It represents the absence of a value or an undefined value. That is the undefined value. Null is there is no that particular column is there. Null is generally we use for the column, है ना. The missing value is a different thing. The value is missed, but absence of value, there is no value, that is a null. Absence of value. If there is no NA, then there is the absence of value.
Absence of value means indirectly it is also a missing value.
Huh. No, absence of value, there is little bit difference in that. How could I explain that? Okay. If I have a cell or there is nothing in that cell, that is null. If there is a cell and there is a NA is written, got it now? Null will not be inside the cell. You will not get this word inside the cell. When you give command, then it will give you that is null. Understand difference? NA is inside the cell. This will show inside the cell. Got it? Or not got it?
Not clearly got it.
You have a blank cell. There is nothing. So then it is null. You have a cell and there is written NA inside the cell. That is a missing value. Got it?
Sir, I have a data and say there is a column, say X. Okay. So,
Okay.
so if any cell is blank of that column, sir, how I will identify that this, if there is no value in this cell, this is a NA type or a null type
Okay.
cell.
When there is nothing, that is a null. Then we convert that null in a NA. Understand? Okay, I will show you. Practically, I will show you that thing. When we do it, the cell is blank. There is nothing. That is a null. We convert the null in an NA later on. Then we could put some value there. So NA would be the missing value.
Okay.
Null is there is nothing. There is null represents the absence of a value. There is nothing in that cell. Got it? And if there is NA, it is inside the cell is written NA. Null will not be written in a cell. I just show you that thing. Mhm. You see here, n is written.
Yes, sir.
So these are the missing values. Okay. Now I do one thing.
Means in that missing and in that empty cell,
Hmm.
I saw. Okay, sir. We will discuss in practical. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think we should continue.
Just a moment. I try to do that. Whether it work or not, I will see that first. Still I am getting Just a moment. Six two. Is not giving me that. No. Do not give me that.
Uh, I think we should write MD dollar
एक second.
day then square bracket.
Oh, no, that's why.
It is not
It may be. It may be. It may be. No, I forget to mention that. Day na. We have the second variable.
yes, sir.
The second variable we have here is the 6 and
Six.
2. 6 2. Second column and sixth row. 6 2.
So only two only.
नहीं 6 row है ना 6 rows. No, it is not giving none.
Just write only two.
No, that's not possible.
Sir,
Okay, okay, I understand. No, not we have to day. Day is the column.
yes, sir. Day is the column.
No, I have written the right thing. It will not work. I have written the right thing. I have mentioned the MD, the sixth row, and the second column. That was right. I have written. It's not working. I will show you the fix. Sometimes we get the blank cells. So that is null basically. Okay. Here I don't know how we create that. The column delete is okay, but sometimes we get a cell, there is nothing. Even the NA is not there.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. The blank cell.
Yes, sir. When we create a null vector, right?
Yes.
And in that vector we input some values by for loop or while loop.
Yes. So I have some data frames where we have done that thing, but it is not, I don't know why, which function we use to do that thing. Na dot string is, sorry, na dot string I am writing. I am writing. We have some attribute is there, but it is not. I'm getting where what should be for that. Okay, we remain it. Don't worry. I will explain later on that. I have some data, the blank cells. Okay. Then again we come on that. So that is the thing. The cell would be blank. There will be nothing in the cell. That is a null. Okay. Now we see. First, we remove the duplicate rows from the data. Then we see the structure of the data. Then find out the missing values, and then we fill the missing values, or we give the treatment, whatever. And then finally, we formatting the columns. Data manipulation we do with dplyr library. This is a package for the data frame for the data manipulation, and the pipe operator we use most of the time. So it gives us a chaining operation, which gives us ease to work.
Sir, what is pipe operator? Because I saw many different scripts in R, but I didn't get what is pipe.
Okay, I will just give one example little bit. Suppose we have MD data, hai na? Okay, and in this MD data, I will use this pipe operator, and I select few columns. मान लो MPG cylinder only. In this column, I want to filter something. Filter some rows, which is MPG is greater than 25. Got it?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. It make like a pipe.
Yes, yes.
Yes, multiple commands in a one pipe.
Just we nested the command. We nested the command inside one command. We are putting another command, and then we are
Okay.
putting.
Yes,
So
sir.
that may confuse you sometimes. Which we have to put outside, which we have to take inside that. Sometimes we get this confusion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But here in the chaining method, we have the whole process clear.
Yes, sir.
First, we have to select the column, then we have to filter it.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you could assume that first we have to filter or select. Sometimes some people may confuse in a small activity.
Yes,
Sometimes we also confuse.
Nice.
It is the mind state.
Yes, sir.
So this is better. It gives us the clear picture what to do first and what to do later.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
So we don't have to write this data set name again and again. We are not writing this again and again. First thing. Okay. Only the variable name we have written.
Yes, sir.
So that's the major benefit of this. Okay, once we have mentioned the data name, and then whatever we will get, we got the sub data set. You could write the MD1. MD1 we are getting through the MD, where we have only two columns, and the column was filtered by the MPG greater than 25. So these entries we will get there. Okay. Why data carpentry? This process is called the data carpentry. Good data scientists understand in a deep way that the heavy lifting of cleanup and preparation is not something that gets in the way of solving the problem. It is the problem. So first do the cleaning everything proper way, otherwise you will get the problem. Okay, so clean the data properly. Ways of manipulated data, missing values, data summarization, group by factors, aggregate, subset, exclude, bucketing values, rearrange shape, and the merge data sets. These are processes we do. This is the split, apply, combine function. Suppose we have to find out the mean of y, but as per these categories, A, B, and C. So it will split the data and then it will find out the mean of this and then it will give the output. The mean of A is 3, mean of B is 4, and the mean of C is 7.5. That is the apply function for the each piece. I will show you these all functions later on. We will see the merging data frame, melting and casting, melt the data and cast the molten data. We will see these all things, reshaping. And we have a dplyr package, few functions, the filter, arrange, select, mutate, summarize, group by, and tally. We will see these all there. And these I have given some attributes of them. And there is tidyl library, which we use the spread, gather, separate, and unite function. Okay. And there are so many things. So I will share with you and you could read these things. What is different things are there, feature engineering and coding and everything. So let's start the session with. So for the detailed comments on code snippets, please refer the reading material what I am providing you. First we see reading the data from external files. So here I have a file. You see, I have a file banks data, banks full data CSV. So I will just read the CSV format file, read.csv bank full data name with extension. So I will run this. I will get the BD 45211 observations and one variables. So there is only one variable. I see this file. Oh, it's the mismatch. So you see here, the instead of comma, there is a colon, semicolon is there. That is as a using the comma, instead of comma separated, there is a semicolon. So it is not give us the proper format like this. So what we will do, we will apply one separator here. Here I have used that separator, this attribute, and we write the whatever the they have used and they have taken there as a separator. They have used the semicolon. So I will apply this semicolon. Then I will show you. Now you see there is 17 variables. Now it is in a proper way. Got it? That is very important because sometimes the people use some other sort of separator. And you try to open the file and you are not getting in the proper format, then how could you do the analysis? So I have put this data here and I am showing you when you get this sort of thing, you closely see what is the separator there, then you separate that, use that separator here in attribute. Okay. And I will show you the head. Head means the first 6 observation we will get of the data frame. Okay. Age, job, first 6 observation. And if you want to view it, you could click here or you could write that thing. Okay. So it is the BD. If I view, so I will get the view of this. We have a library dplyr, which you have to install first and you have to run it. And if you want to see the structure, the structure is the R base function. We already used it to get the structure. It's the integer character we are getting. And if you use the glimpse instead of structure, so we'll get the same information, but it is the justified way. It is the, you see in the Microsoft Word, we use the page justify. It is not, it is the left align, or it is the justified way you will get it. The information is same information it will provide. Got it? Now I will show you the table of job column here little bit. I will explain that. So you see there is one column that is there are categories in this job column: the admin, the blue collar, and the entrepreneur, housemaid, management, retired, self-employed, services, student, technician, unemployed, and unknown. Unknown is what? Unknown is nothing. It should be, if you there is unknown category. Unknown is not a category, but the person who has do the data entry, who has done the data entry, he has written in the he has not got the information about their job in the job profile. They just put the unknown. Unknown means these are the missing, basically. This is the missing information. So we have to convert this unknown as a missing, as a NA value. Okay. So what we do, these are 288. Okay. So what I am doing, NA dot strings is equal to unknown. Wherever the unknown in the data is written, it should be converted in NA. Got it? Other
Yes,
is
sir.
same. Other is same. The bang, and when we read, we will do at that moment. So again we read the file. Now you see, again I show you the job table. You will see there is no unknown. You are getting unknown here? No. Even the NA you are not getting here. 288 is that. So we see the sum of NA is dot NA BD dollar job. The sum is the count, how many NAs are there. So I will see there is 288 NA is there now. Got it? If you want to see the NA is this table, then use NA is equal to, always you use this attribute. And it will also show, this table will also show you the how many NAs are there. Is it clear to all? In the previous, it was not showing me when I just tried this. When I use NA is equal to always attribute, then I am getting this. Okay. Now,
what was use any? Use any.
NA is for the missing value. These values are missing.
I got any, but sir, what is use any? What it refers to?
This is the attribute, because for this table, you are getting this table, frequency table.
Yes.
The
sir.
table function, what it will do? If you just run this BD dollar job, then you will get the table of this job. The category wise, it will give us the information of the frequency, how many frequency are there in the each category.
Okay, sir.
But it is not showing us the NA.
Yes, sir.
NA is the missing value, so it will not show us the missing value. So when I use the attribute used NA is equal to always, then it will also show me how many NAs are there in this particular column.
Means missing values. Missing cell, number of missing
values.
Okay.
Okay. So I could also get the missing value at the time of getting the information about the category.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is the attribute I am adding on. So this is the file, the CSV file, how we could read it. So while reading, you could do these things. And if you have to read the Excel file, then there is a read Excel library you have to install, and you could run it. And then you could read the read Excel file. And there is a sheet in the Excel file. There is a many sheets, one, sheet 2. So you have to mention the sheet also. If you don't mention the sheet, it will read the first sheet only in default. So I will show you. This is the D I will show you. So this is these 365 observations, 6 variables. If I change the sheet, You will see there is 685 and 6 variables. In the state 1, we see what? 15 observation, 5 variables. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So that is the thing. We could write in the CSV format in default. So write.csv is a function, and you write to this file D, which is what the Excel first. Now D I am going to write in a data10.csv. It is already there data10.csv, but I am making data15.csv now. Okay. And I save it. So it will be in my working directory, the current working directory, which is I am working. So data15.csv. Got it? Any doubt? It has been saved now. Suppose you have to read some other extension file like the SES file. So that is a library you have to install, SES7bdet, and this library you have to run. And the syntax is read.ses7bdet. And there is a file gaming.ses7bdet you will show here. And I will read it. You could read any format data file here. Because I have not run this. And now I read it. So it is the D1 you will see here, 1143 observations and 3 variables you are getting here. Or you could save in any format. If you want to save in the CSV, you could save in the CSV. Then later on you will use the CSV format. If you have to read the file of SPSS, then you use the package foreign. And sorry, it is already was there. I have again installed it. Okay, no problem. This I should make it comment. So I will run this library, and this the extension of the SPSS file is the .sav, and I am reading this file, and I will show you D3. So you will get the list. You are not getting the data frame here. It is a list of 59. So I will show you this list we are getting in this way. Now I will convert this in data frame. So I have to use a function, the D3, data.frame D3. I am making a D4. That is a data frame. So you will see it is now a data frame. If I show you, so it is like this. Got it? So SAV file, when you read with the foreign package, it would be a list. It will give you the list. Then convert that list in a data frame. That is very important. Data.frame D3. There are some other packages also you could use to read the SAV.sav file. That will give you the direct data frame. But I forget it. Because very few times I use that sort of file. Understand? Up to here. Any doubt how to read the different format files and how to write the file?
No, sir. We will do.
Okay. So now I will show you one thing, that we are going to merge so many data sets together. You see there the text file. We have so many text files from the different states of America, and all the files have the same data, same columns. Column names are not there, but the same columns are there. These are the text file. If I open it, you will see this is a text file. We are getting CTF and these and these and these columns. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns we have in the each data each data set. But in this folder, there are some other format files also. Like the one is the PDF, one is the CSV format file. These are the, so we have a log file also here. You will see one log file is there. So in this way, we have different sort of file. And I want to merge this file, text file only, together. Then I could do the analysis on that. So I will show you how we could merge so many files. So I will change my working directory. Why I'm changing my working directory? Because my working directory is at this moment data preparation folder. But in this, I have another folder that is a names by state. So I have to fetch the file of this folder. You will see. I have to fetch these all files. Okay, this is a log file and every file. So I have to set my working directory up to the folder name names by state. So I will set my working directory. You see, if I get my working directory, I will get the name up to the data preparation. And then I set my working directory, copy this and paste here, and then I write the next folder name and I run it. And now I show you my working directory. So look at here, it is names by state. Now I could read the files from this folder. So first I will do list.files get working directory. Whatever the working directory I have, this folder, I want to know the list of the files. What are the files there? Only the list. So I will get this list. You see, this is my list. List.files. So this I have the list. I am getting. There are so many files. There are some PDF, some CSV, some log file. But I want only text file. So what I will write in this command, I will use another attribute which is a pattern. Pattern is equal to .txt. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then I run this. And again I run this. You see, I have only txt file. I don't have other files now. .csv or the log file. Got it? Understand?
Yes, sir.
So these file names will provide me the files, only the text file now. Okay. This object name I have given the file names. Now I use the lapply function, which I explain you later on. File names. This is a list. Read.csv. Okay. In a CSV format, I want to read it. Header false. There is no header. I have explained you. And the string s factor is false. That is not compulsory to write. But it was previously, it was important because it was in default the true. Now it is false already in default. That is not compulsory to write the entries as string s factor false. Okay, it will automatically false. In default, it is false. They have changed the algorithm here. So I will run it. And I will show you the class of files. In this, lapply will return in a list form. It will give the list output. The class is list now. So I have a list. I will show you that list. In that list, we have so many data frame because I have explained you the list. I have taught you the list in the R1. What is list? In list, we could put so many data frame. In list, we could put so many things. So I just first do it, and that is the files. So files, large list, 51 elements. So we have the 51 text files. I will show you how many text files are there. It is the, when we have taken this name. So it is the 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and 51. So there are 51 elements. Got it? So I will show you this. So you will see here the 51 data frames we have in this list. This is the first data frame having 26,163 observations in the 5 variables. In the second data frame, we have 1,25,093 observations in 5 variables are all same, 5 variables, but the observations are different. Okay, there may be some, maybe 1 lakh, some maybe some thousands. There may be. So these 51 data frames we have in this list. Understand up to here? Now I will use the do.call function, and I will rbind, row bind the files. So whatever in the files data frame, I will row bind it now. And I will use the do.call function. And I will use a object name file now. And any object name you could use. I am using file. And if you see this file here is a file. Now you see how many observations are there. 55 lakhs 52,452 if we write in other manner. So it is the 5 million. Yes, 5,552,452. This much observations we have in the file because we have merged all the files. If I view this file, I could view here. So there is the observation. You will see it is showing me this much observation. Got it? Now I give the name of header, state, gender, year, name, and count. Okay. So I will just run it. Names, file, and here I will use the vector and I will run it. Now I will show you that file. So there is a state, gender, year, name, count. Got it? Now I will show you the class of file. So class of file is a data frame now. Okay. I will just show you if you want. So it is a data frame. Got it? So how to merge the file? Have you got it?
Okay.
Okay. Any doubt up to here? Anyone?
No, sir.
So it's very easy. With few commands, we have merged so many files. Okay. With very 2 or 4 commands.
Sir, there is a one function do.call.
And
When do we use it?
do.call, we are arbind it all the files from the list.
General use. When
I will show you that. Do.call considers the executes a function call from a name of the function and a list of arguments to be passed to it. So we have used that na? List of the arguments, that is the list of the data frame. Okay, that we have followed there. Complex list. Okay. So we have so many things you could read here, but we use this for converting that from a list.
can we add two data frame by using do.call?
Not compulsory. We use the do data frame. We use the rbind only. If you have the data frame name, I have taken the list. Why? Because I don't want to write those 51 names in the rbind function.
Yes, sir.
So I have taken the lapply first. Understand? There is a reason why we use the lapply. Here I use the lapply. I want the list of all data frame. Because you see here is the read.csv. Header is false. So I intentionally use the list of the data frame. Then that list, I have whatever the element in the list, I have rbind them. Got it? Rbind is function applied only on the data frame. So in the files, there is a element of the file or the list or the data frame. So this rbind function applied on the element of files. That is a list. So do call function we are using in that way. This function, this rbind function, rbind is also a function. Do.call is a major function. Rbind is also a function. So rbind we are using here as a attribute. Understand? And this attribute, this function is applying inside this files, inside the elements of the file. So elements of the file is what? Data frame here. So rbind is applying in the data frames with the help of do.call function.
Okay, sir.
Got it? Now a few more things I will explain you. Now I will show you the few techniques of filtering. The VCD data, the library VCD I am using, and the arthritis data is there. I explained the arthritis data earlier also, or not?
Yes, sir.
So I will not explain the arthritis data. I will just show you for your reference first. The ID, the treatment, placebo, and the treated, and the sex, male, female, age is the integer, and the improved is the none, some, and the marked improvement. 3 categories are there. So what I am taking, I am adding one more column in this arthritis data set. So that new column is the log underscore age name I am giving. And I am taking the log value of the age. Age is a numerical variable. So I could take the log value of that. And it would be a log underscore age would be a new column because we have the 5 column at present. So I'm going to add one new column with the help of the old columns calculation. Then I will show you. Look at here. It is worked or not worked. So I have to run it again. So it is the log underscore age. Got it? So we have got the log value of this here. And what I am doing, I am again making one new column. That is the PES 0 of the arthritis improved and the arthritis ID. So ID is this and the improved is this. So this will paste, you know the paste function, concatenation. So I will just do it and I will show you. And then the view I will use. So it is the sum 57. Sum improvement, the 57% ID. None improvement, 46% ID. So in this column I have prepared. And one more thing I am doing the filtering here. So I am taking a new column age underscore 40 underscore indicator, new column name I am giving. And I am taking the arthritis age is smaller than 40. I just remove this numeric first. Then later on we will add on this. So I will just do it and I will show you this new column you will see there. So it is the true and false because the conditional operator always gives us the true and false only. Okay. But I want the value as a numeric 1 and 0. True is 1 there and then false is 0. For that purpose, I will use that function as dot numeric. And I run this. Now I view it to you. You see. Now I got the difference. Why we use the s dot numeric? We have converted the true and false in 1 and 0. So this is the few things I have explained you how we could create a new column with the help of old one. We could apply some function. We could paste the thing. We could use the conditional and we could create new columns. And now we see the apply function in R. So I will show you. You know the empty cast data. If I have to find out the mean of a particular variable, I could use the function mean. I will just make one this and then I will show you. It is 20.09. If I use the mean for MD, the complete data, if I don't write the variable name, I just write the data name. And I want to find out the mean. I will get the warning message. I will get the NA. We could not find the mean of the whole data through this function. Then what I will do, either I will use the for loop or I will try to use some other inbuilt function. Okay. Or I will use the apply function. So first I use some for loop and I will show you the output of this. So for I in 1 into n column of MD and the print mean MD each column. So you see I'm getting the mean of all column now, but I am not getting the name of the column front of them. And then I have another built-in function, that is the call means. This function I could use. I see the output of this. So it is better output than that. The mileage mean, cylinder mean. So it is the inbuilt function I have in R. Row means I could also take the all rows, 32 rows. I will get the mean of the rows also. So this function I could use here. I have some other function also. Those functions are apply function, apply family. In the apply family, there are so many apply functions: S apply, T apply, E apply, R apply, and apply. So I will use first the apply function, and apply function I am using on the MD data, and I want to find out the mean. So here the first, if I write there are the syntax of this, I will tell you. The first is the data, second is the margin, and third is the function, data margin function. So data margin is 1 and 2, 1 for row and 2 for column. If I want the row mean, then I will write 1. If I want the column mean, I will write the 2. So if I'm writing the 1, I will get the row mean. I will get the 32 means. The 32 rows are there. You get here. If I write here 2, I will get the 11 mean, because there are 11 variables we have. Does that make sense to everyone? How does we apply function we could use? It is the substitute of that for loop. Okay, there are many for loops we could avoid from the for and the while loop. We could use the apply function. Got it?
Sir, if I also want standard deviation. Okay,
You could find anything.
Can we replace mean by vector of
yes.
and standard deviation?
You could use here anything, whatever you want.
No, the mean and standard deviation simultaneously.
That may or may not be possible. I try. I have not done that thing previous. I use the separately always, but I try for your asking. So I see whether it works or not. It will not work.
Okay.
Because I have not used together. I have used the separately. There is no time to, it is very simple. It will not take much time. If you want the SD, you write you copy paste, or you could write it. Okay, you copy paste it. If you don't have time, then copy paste it. Or you could just change the function. Whatever the minimum value, maximum value, whatever, you could take it. The sum, if you want, you get the sum.
Sir, I want only selected summary, statistics, mean, and variance.
So you could write the summary.
Not whole summary, so selected summary.
Selected summary, then you have to make a for loop function for that. When you make a function for that summary, then that function you could apply here, your own function. Got it?
Okay.
You create your own function, then you apply that function here, whatever you want. So that function you apply, you will get that summary. Describe whether work or not, I don't know, because it will not work. Describe will not work here. Okay, so this is the apply function we are using. Now I will tell you about the lapply function. It will give the lapply function we have used earlier also. It will give us the output in a list form or there are two attributes only?
प्रेजेंट बोल के याद है मेरे को यार उपसाला यूरोपियन यूनिवर्सिटीज बोल के तुम बोल रहा था
In lapply function, we have two attributes, data and the function only. There is no margin attribute is there. So it will give us the output of column only. It will not give us the output of rows. It will give the column wise, whatever the function you will give. That is the lapply. It is the list basically. Output is list. If we could convert this in vector using the unlist function, we get the output like our apply function. I will show you. I am making one small data frame. There is a v1 variable and the v2 variable. In the v1 variable, I have taken one NA value. Okay. And this is my data. And I want to find out the mean of this. Mean of first variable. So I will get the NA because there is one NA values. So what attribute I have to use? I have to use an attribute like NA.rm. NA remove equal to true. First you remove the NA and then you find out the mean of remaining values. So it will remove this and then it will find out the mean of other values with other values. So we'll say the mean is 4. In lapply function, if I apply the my data and the mean, my data is this one. It will give me NA for the first variable. For the second variable, there are all values. So it is giving 5.75. The same NA function, NA.rm, I could use here also. Okay. This I explained you earlier. And tomorrow we see some our own function, how we could apply on the this apply function. I will explain you tapply and the other also. Okay. And we try to finish this by tomorrow, the data preparation. It's not a small script, but we try to finish it by tomorrow. We will finish this. Okay. Maybe tomorrow we try to finish it. So I hope you now understand the data preparation, how do we perform the data preparation with different data, how we could read different sort of files. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow we cover the remaining part, okay, of this data preparation, and the Saturday would be off and the next Monday we meet again. Okay. And the next week tomorrow we try to finish the data preparation, and the next week we start with the inferential analysis.
And sir, when will R3 workshop will start?
Next week we are going to start the R3 again. We have planned it. R3.
I didn't get any mail.
Oh yeah, it is just planning because I have not was in a meeting today. I was somewhere else, so I will see what happens yesterday. Or tomorrow I will see what happens. Okay.
Sir, please start R3 after the end of this R2 workshop.
After the end of that, I also think that it should be start after end of this. So we just we just published the post in a social media for next week, and we get some data, and then we postpone it. Sometimes we have to use this sort of technique. We get the registration, then we postpone it for 1 week.
Sir, we just know your name. We don't know, sir, what's your profile. So can you please explain yourself?
Okay, okay. Basically, I am
Where
a
we are doing work.
I am a
So this is
statistician.
very inspiration to us.
Okay, okay. I am a statistician. Okay, and I have experience more than 26 years in the field of statistical analysis. I have worked with manufacturing industry, academics like schools, colleges also. I have I have worked with PGT as a PGT also of mathematics. I have worked with the faculty in the various colleges as a statistics and mathematics faculty. Then I worked with some NGOs also for this analytics and these all things. I have worked with the BJP IT cell for analytics near about 1.5 years. And then I worked in the various IT industries as a manager data science or manager data analytics. Now I am giving consultancy to IT companies. I am not performing the regular job there because I have some workshop with some industries. Corporate workshop is the main our theme is. We are giving the workshops to Vico Laboratory and the some other industries, Tech Mahindra and this all the corporate workshops. And also in the colleges and the university, we take the FDP programs, faculty development programs, and the some other data analytics workshops. So that is thing, and we are doing some project also in the industry. Machine learning projects we are doing in some of the industry. So that is working. There I am giving the providing the consultancy. The main part somewhere they stuck in the machine learning and somewhere then I do that thing, that coding only. That part, the statistical is very required over there. Only I work on that part only, and then they do in other parts. So this is my introduction basically. We are working like a octopus. There are so many arms.
Yes, sir.
So different fields we are working. Like in the machine learning in the industry, we are providing services. We are providing workshop also, and our classes are also running. I am also teaching in the upgrade. You know the upgrade is the Roni Screwwala
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
famous platform. There I also as a expert faculty. I take their classes only on Saturday and Sunday for the doubt clearation. Doubt clearing classes I take only there. I don't teach their regular basis because this is my passion of teaching. So we are doing these things. We are spreading this knowledge worldwide. The people could understand this thing because in the near future the demand of data analytics would be very huge. Like an accountant. You see, the accountant is everywhere. If there is a 5% company, there is one accountant is required. You know that in a gas agency or whatever the small school of 200, 300 students, there is one accountant is required. So similarly, in near future, within 5 years, in every industry, every small business, there is a requirement of a business analyst because the huge data is generating everywhere. Okay, so they require some analyst. So there may be the small post to the big post like that. Yes, I will share the today's and the yesterday's recording material, everything, Glenn. Thanks everyone. Now we wind up and tomorrow we see.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.